Hi friends, the topic for today is क्या फर्क पड़ता है? The biggest symptom of apathy among mediocrity is the attitude of क्या फर्क पड़ता है? What is the point of me following all the traffic rules when everybody else is jumping the signal? What is the point of me being honest and honestly paying my taxes when nobody else around me is paying the taxes? Why should I be the only one fighting the battle, fighting a lonely battle? Well, this logic is extremely flawed. Reason number one is when you behave like everybody else, we are giving up the biggest advantage and the gift which God has given us, and that is the gift of uniqueness. When you are unique, why do you behave like somebody else? And when you behave like somebody else, you can't be unique. Remember, nobody has ever made a difference in this world by being like somebody else or being like everybody else. You have to stand up for who you are. Now let me explain this logic further to you by telling you a beautiful story. On one evening on a beach, there was an old man and he was standing right on the shore, and a high tide had recently receded and there were shoals of fish gasping for breath on the seashore. This old man tirelessly was picking up one fish and putting it back into the ocean. He was picking up the fish and putting it back into the ocean. A small little boy was observing this scene. After some time, he couldn't hold himself. He went to the old man and said, "Hey, old man, what are you doing? How many of them are you going to save? There are thousands of them. You're going to soon get tired, and most of them, the majority of them, are going to die." Without saying any other word, the old man just picked up one more fish and threw it back into the ocean. And then he looked at the boy and said, "Maybe it would not make any difference to all those lying here who are dying, but it made a huge amount of difference to the one I just threw into the ocean." So my dear friends, maybe by behaving the way in what we believe in expressing our uniqueness, we may not be able to change the whole world. But every time we behave in a particular way, positive or negative, moral or immoral, it does have an impact on the society. Let me explain this a little further. This is an example I commonly use in my seminars. So I ask people around in the class, how many of you smoke? And a few of them raise their hands. Then I ask them, how many years are you smoking? And some say 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Then I ask them, did you really attend a training program on the benefits of advantage of smoking? Because it is a very impactful habit in your life. The way you view it, positive or negative, the way we look at it. Well, they say no, they laugh and say, no, of course we did not. So, who taught you how to smoke? Well, most of them don't know the name of the person who taught them how to smoke. Because the person who taught them how to smoke was not a superhero. He was not a great author. He was not a great actor. He was not a great businessman. He was not a big unit. In fact, he was not a very well-known role model in the society. It could be the person who was sitting next to them in their college or in the office. But at that point of time in their lives, somehow they idealized him or her, and they considered him to be a role model for that particular behavior, and they picked up the habit of smoking. Well, that is exactly what happens, my dear friends. Now reverse the logic. Anytime and every time when we behave in a particular way, there are at least 10 people around us who are observing us and looking at us and learning how to live their life by looking at us. We make decisions about what clothes to wear, how to behave, what business to do, what education to take by looking at people around us. So if we are idealizing somebody around us who may not be superheroes, who could be just people next to us, at some point of time and at every point of time, remember somebody else is looking at you and idealizing you and thinking you to be a role model, knowingly or unknowingly, and picking up habits from you. So when you bribe, you are knowingly or unknowingly teaching 10 more people to bribe. When you jump a signal, you are knowingly or unknowingly encouraging 10 other people who are being influenced by you at that point of time to jump the signal. So, farak bahut padta hai. We shape the world by the way we behave. Now comes the best part of the video, my dear friends. We create the world that we live in. We attract people like us in our world. The world is not good, the world is not bad, and we actually shouldn't be bothered how the world is, because our world is what we create by our own behavior. Now just look at this logic. I'll give you a wonderful example to make you understand what I'm trying to tell you. So imagine you have finished your school and now you're going to college, and it's a new building, there are 5,000 students there, you don't know anybody, all your friends have been deserted, they have gone to some other educational institutions and you're the only one. So the morning time when you get inside the college building, you don't know anybody, you're anxious, you're scared, and you go and find your classroom and you go and sit on your bench, you're there very quietly looking around, try to make sense of things around you. But my dear friends, just by the end of the day, within 4 to 5 hours, magic happens, and most of us would have gathered at least 8 to 10 friends who are exactly like us. People who behave like us, who talk like us, who dress like us. Now, isn't it magic that within one day, how come we were able to gather 10 to 15 specimens or namunas exactly like us from the whole crowd of 5,000 students inside the college? And this is enough to prove that we attract people who are like us. So, my dear friends, if you want the world to be an honest place, start being honest to yourself. If you want the world or the people around you to be more disciplined, start being disciplined yourself. And उससे बहुत ज़्यादा फर्क पड़ता है. One of the greatest principles my dad taught me was be honest and never to bribe. So I never bribe. But you know why I can afford not to bribe? Because I am honest. There are people around me who are honest, who like me, and I like them. It's vice versa. We have a great relationship. So whenever I get into any trouble, I don't have to resort to corrupt means to get my work done. There are honest people. There are people who are influential. There are people who are sitting in important places and they are out there to help me. So behave yourself into the world that you want to live in. Dream of the world that you want to live in and create it by your own behavior. And my dear friends, how you behave, how you conduct yourself and what principles you follow, उससे बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. Thank you so much.